Hi, I hope you are having an amazing day. So in this video, we're going to talk about the bot for the developers. So first of all, we have to know that what is the bot. If I put this in a simple words, that the bot is actually the AI chatbot developed by the Google. Alright, so how can it help the developers? It can help the developer in multiple different ways. So let's just explore the bot today. So first of all, we have to go to the Google and I'm going to write bot. And then we have to go into the bot.google.com. All right, and here we may need to sign up to access the bot, but if you are already signed up in your Google account, you won't need to sign up again. All right, so I am already signed in into the bot. I don't have to sign in again. So now let's just explore the bot from the developer's perspective. The first one is that the developer can ask the programming related questions, the computer science questions, or anything related to the technology. Okay, so for example, I want to ask about the data structure. What is data structure? All right, so you can see here that it gave us the answer, the data structure, a way of organizing the data. All right, so let me just zoom in a bit here. Okay, that is fine. Okay, so now I want to ask about the trees and the graphs. So tell me more about trees and graphs. Okay, so it would simply explain more about the trees and the graphs in the detail. Okay, as you can see here, the trees, there are the different kind of the trees: binary search, and AVL. In the graph we have the undirected, directed, etc, etc. Okay, so this is how you can ask questions about the computer science or the programming related. So I would ask it, how can I create a function in TypeScript? Okay, so it will tell you to create a TypeScript function. Okay, so now you can see here there are the two different ways to create the function in the TypeScript. The first one was a named function, and the second one is the anonymous function. Okay, so this is how you can use the bot to ask the questions. And the second thing is that it can help you to write the code in the different languages, in the different frameworks. We're gonna give it a try. So now we will actually use the bot to write the code. So for example, I want to write down a simple code here that write down the login form in HTML and Tailwind CSS and try to make the UI a bit colorful. Okay, so it will actually respond us the HTML form. All right, so that is actually the response that we got from the bot, and we have our login form with the HTML and Tailwind CSS. Okay, all right, so I have to add one thing here: 8 full HTML code, link of CSS as well. Alright, so now you can see the difference here, that the first one we only got the HTML code of the form, but I needed to have the full code of the HTML from the starting to the end. Okay, as you can see here, from the HTML element, and it also included the Tailwind CSS in the link. Okay, so now I will simply copy this code and we will try this code in our VS Code. So let's just copy this and we will go into our VS Code. Let's just create a file. Okay, and let me just paste the code here. Okay, let's just save the file and try to run this with the live server, and we would have our login form. Alright, so now you can see here that we have got the login form ready within the few minutes and without adding the custom code. Alright, so now I will try to create an API for this login form. So create an API for this login form and Node.js. Okay, so the one thing that you need to know more about the bot is that it is actually connected to the internet. So it can also give you the resources that are available on the internet. Okay, but this feature is actually not available on the ChatGPT. So let's just explore our API here. So I have to copy this code All right, and it has also given us the explanation for that code as well. Okay, one thing here that Bard actually give you the multiple responses on your query. So for example, if I wanted to see the other responses, so you can see here, view the other draft. Okay, you can see here it has the draft number 1, 2 and the 3. So if I wanted to regenerate the draft, I can simply click on this button, and it has given us the different responses on the same query. So I would simply go with this code that we have this right now. I have already copied this, so we will go into the VS Code. I will create the API folder, and inside that api.js, simply paste this code. All right, and now we need to open up the terminal to run this code. But before that, we have to install the Express.js and the body parser. Let's just hit the enter and wait for it. Alright, so the Express.js and the body parser is installed on our system. Now I have to run this code. So node API. Alright, so the API is actually running on the port 3000. So now let's just test our API with the Postman. So let's just open up the Postman. Alright, so now we are into the Postman. So I have to check the route of the API. So it is actually the login. So let's just get this and paste it here. And what I need to do here, okay, so we have the condition if the email and the password is not available, so it will return us the invalid email. So I am actually not providing it anything here, so let's just send a post request and it would respond us that invalid email or the password. It simply means that our API is working. Alright, so this is how you can use the Bard to write down the code for you. You can even use it to write database code. So for example, I have to create a table in MySQL. So let's just create table with name, email, password and address. Alright, so we got the user table with the ID, name, email, password and the address columns. Okay, so this is how you can use it to get the MySQL queries. And for example, if I want to convert this into the MongoDB, which is actually the different type of the database from relational to the non-relational, so let's just see, is it able to do that as well? So convert this table into MongoDB. Alright, so it was able to convert our table into the MongoDB document. Okay, as you can see here, it has the JSON format, which has the properties name, email, password, address and the ID. Okay, so this is how you can use it for the database as well. And the third one is that it can explain the code whatever you can put it inside their prompt. Alright, so it can explain every single line of that particular code. Now we're gonna actually use it to explain the code. So for example, let me just write down a simple TypeScript function, write a simple addition function in TypeScript. Okay, so this is a simple TypeScript function. So now I will pass this function in the prompt and then ask the bot to explain this code. Explain this code. Alright, so it has given us a proper explanation on our function. As you can see here, for the first line, for the second line and for the last line. So it has given us the explanation on every single line. The fourth thing is it can improve the code. It can improve the readability, efficiency of the code just by giving the instructions over the code you want to improve. Alright, so now we will actually try to use it to improve the code. So let's just take the example of the API that we have created earlier. So let me just copy this and I will actually paste it inside the prompt with the double quotation. And now I will write here improve this code. Alright, so now you can see here it has improved our code in the some of the different ways, such as error handling, and it used the validation and the password hashing library, as you can see in the code here. Okay, so this is how you can improve your code using the bot. And the fifth thing is you can actually convert the code from one language to another language. Alright, so let's just use the bot to convert the code. So I would actually copy this function that we have created with the TypeScript, okay, and wrap this inside the double quotation and convert this code into the C# code. Okay, so this would actually convert our TypeScript code into the C# code. Alright, so now you can see here it has actually converted our add function into the C# code. Okay, so this is it, and it can even generate the dummy data for the practice purpose. Alright, so now we will actually use the bot to generate the dummy data. So let's say generate data of 15 users with name, ID, address, email in JSON format. Alright, so as you can see here that it has generated the data of the 15 users with the name, address, and the email. Okay, so this is how you can use it to generate the data if you want to test it on your code. Alright, and you can ask the suggestions to the bot to make your code perform better. So now I would like to ask the suggestions about the algorithms that I should use for my apps. So for example, let's say I want to create an app for tracking user in Google Map in my app. Which algorithm would be the best choice for that? Hit the enter and it would give us the suggestion about the algorithm that we should use. So there are the many algorithms that we could use, such as the GPS tracking, cellular network tracking, Wi-Fi network tracking. Okay, so it has given us the different suggestions. Okay, so for example, I want to ask it best term to use in my app for product searching. So it has given us a different suggestion based on the use cases of that particular algorithm. Okay, so this is how you can use it for asking the suggestion. And the last thing is that it can actually find and fix the bug for you, and it will also explain you the bug. All right, okay, so in the last we will give it a code with the bug, and let's see is it able to find and fix the bug. So I would take the code from here, wrap this into the curly braces, and try not to use the return here. So this is actually the compile time error. So find and fix the bug. Okay, so it has found the bug that was actually the return statement is missing. Alright, so this is how we can use it to find and fix the bug. So that was all about how can a developer use the bot as the AI assistant to help him or her out into his programming journey. Okay, to improve the code, to increase the performance of the code, and to help him out where he does not know anything about that particular code or the topic. Alright, so this is it for this video, and we will meet in the next video.